Is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Couch Sports Talk podcast. I'm your boy Goozy here with philanthropist and Young E, and we get our information about sports the same way that you do, sitting on the fucking couch and enjoying some of the greatest entertainment the world has to offer, and that is football, basketball, cricket, uh, swimming, golfing. We could go on forever, but for right now,
Masters.
Yes, for right now, we're gonna focus on a few sports. Just to be honest with you, we don't cover cricket. Maybe one day we will, but as of right now, we're not international just yet. All right, so
Philip, put your hand down.
yeah, what the fuck is
I
that?
have a question.
No, fuck you. This is the Couch Sports Talk podcast. Thank you for showing up to watch our video.
You can't do that. What's going on?
I need.
Wow,
Oh.
you're a capper.
All right. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little fucked up right now. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to be honest. I think you guys are too. And that's because we're going to add this to our schedule. If we are doing a show on Friday night, it'll be up on Saturday for you guys. But if we're doing one on Friday, it's going to be fucked up Friday. Okay? We're getting fucked up just the way sports are meant to be enjoyed, on various amounts of alcohols and drugs. Philanthropist, Young E, how are you guys doing?
Yeah, that just about sums it up.
Feeling good. Feeling great. It's Friday night, baby. It's Friday, baby.
Feeling good, man.
You already know.
Oh, my goodness. Quick question. We don't have to get into too much depth about it, but we did just have an NFL game happen yesterday. Give 2 words for what happened last night.
Big Philip.
Okay. Young E? Oh, my.
You can't do that.
Saucy D.
Okay.
Pause.
I'm going to say Team Awakening. I
Oh.
like it. I liked what I seen yesterday. But that's all we'll get into it.
I
don't have
saw
to go
Saucy D.
Yes, there was a lot of Saucy D. And nothing's wrong with that, okay?
I know you love it.
So later on, we're actually going to do what our updated NFL playoff picks, and I'm sure we'll talk about the Colts and Titans a little bit in there. But for now, there has been some important news that is not NFL related, and if you have been keeping up with the show, it's been a little hard getting some sports news, as NFL right now in America is really the only thing that's going on. But we do have an active, kinda, NBA season. We are almost a month away from the start of the NBA season, and there are some rumors rumbling. You can hear them buzzing in the wind as you're walking. Zzz.
Uh-oh.
Bzz.
Booze is gone.
Dead air is my
Oh.
least favorite kind of air. Anyways, so we have a lot of rumors rumbling right now, and one of the biggest ones, if not the biggest one, is that we've had a very, very good team, if not a great team, the last couple of years, getting ready to blow it up. And at the center of that is James Harden. Yes, we are talking about the Houston Rockets, and also in these trade talks is his companion in the backfield, former teammate in the Thunder, and also both of them are former MVPs, which is surprising that this would even happen with former MVPs. You think you're going to have former MVPs on a team, you're going to have a great team. And yes, they still are great players and do still great things, but something is obviously not gelling well, and some might argue that it's just hard to gel with James Harden. So, philanthropist, I'm going to go to you first. How likely do you see how likely do you see it that the Rockets will blow it up? And then also, if they do blow it up, what will that consist of?
99% they're blowing it up. They're changing
Oh,
everything. This is why Daryl Morey left, because he didn't want to get stuck. He saw where the wind was blowing with Fertitta. Fertitta is not an owner that wants to spend money, doesn't want to be in the luxury tax. They had a coach in Mac D'Antoni who left. PJ Tucker, I don't know if you all saw this report, but it was basically a Rockets takedown piece. PJ Tucker apparently was playing all last year, completely irate with the front office that he didn't get a new contract. Austin Rivers complained all year about being yelled at by James Harden, essentially, even pointing out specific instances where he got yelled at on the bench from the free throw line by Harden, which is just petty.
I saw
but
that. That shit is absolutely ridiculous if
yeah,
that actually happened.
Austin, come on, man. You gotta be a little better. I know Harden is a lot, but anyway, so that happened. Russell Westbrook wants out because of, quote, a lack of accountability and leadership in the organization that starts with Harden. And overall, I think the organization is just ready for some fresh wheels. They're not going to play that same style of basketball that they had been, where they were really committing to the small ball, 3-and-D, space and pace. Westbrook wants out. Harden has said he's locked in, so I think I see them blowing it up and really retooling around James Harden again, since he's their star that wants to stay. But overall, this really just showed me that I'm just out on James Harden. Just not really a good leader, not a good culture guy. We can say what we want about Westbrook, but one thing that's never been in question is his leadership or his ability to show up and be a professional and do the right things that just to try to contribute to winning basketball. And he's been with Harden again for 1 year, and he's already won out. And they consistently underperform. Harden consistently underperforms. So it looks like Houston's going to hitch their wheels to him. But at this point, he's 31, 32. I don't think he's in for any type of change. And my hot take that I'm going to throw about James Harden is that he's the new era's Carmelo Anthony, meaning an underperforming superstar who's never going to get it done and never going to change their ways, for better or for worse. And for that matter, he's like the watered down, B plus, B minus version of Carmelo.
Wow. There's a lot there, but so you're only seeing that Westbrook is traded and not Harden.
Yes.
So where do you think that Westbrook, where would his best landing spot be?
I think the Knicks make a lot of sense if the Knicks are willing to pay the price. I think there's very few franchises that would be willing to pay the price for his contract, which is 40 plus million for the next 3 years. And, with Westbrook, there's kind of a ceiling where you're going to, at best, only be like a 45 win first round playoff team. So I don't think there's many franchises that'd be willing to pay that price. But the Knicks are one of them, where they just desperately need to be relevant. They desperately need to get in the win column. So I can see that one happening. Something else I've been intrigued by is the potential for a Paul George, Russell Westbrook trade. I think that could be a win-win situation for both teams. For the Clippers, I think that really what they need is someone who's comfortable being on ball and being a floor general, because Kawhi is clearly not that. Paul George is clearly not that. And Pat Bev certainly as hell is not that. So I think they could benefit from having Russ there, having that fire, having that leadership, having that go get him mentality. And then really with Paul George, I just think he'd be perfect in Houston. As a guy in that system, I think he plays very well during the regular season. And I know he's had some leadership or some accountability questions, but there's really no better place to go for that than where you're with James Harden, who's going to take a lot of that blame and deflect from you. So I really think that could be a potential trade that we might see this offseason, depending on how the contracts play out or depending on what the value for each side is. But yeah, that's what I see as most likely.
It would be fucking insane if they were traded for each other after just being on the same team 2 years ago.
And I want to also add on to that just briefly and say that if I'm the Lakers, if I'm the Warriors, if I'm any contender in the Western Conference and the Clippers get Westbrook, I'm so sleep. I'm not scared of that shit at all. We see what happens to Westbrook in the playoffs. That's not a downgrade or an upgrade for the Clippers in terms of their championship aspirations. It's simply a chemistry or a change of scenery type of move.
I actually really do agree with that. Young E, how likely do you think this is to happen? And who do you think is getting traded, and where could you see them getting traded to?
I mean, it depends on your definition. I agree with Phil. I think Russ is out of there. So I would say that's a 99% for me. Harden, I'm saying more of like a 10% thing. I really don't think he's going to be out of there. But yeah, my real question for philanthropist is if Westbrook is traded to the Knicks, what is realistically what the Rockets will bring in for him?
Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina, Mitch, and it doesn't mean all of these guys, but it means like these guys are in the conversation. So it could be Frankie, it could be Kevin Knox, Mitchell Robinson is a great young piece they have.
Can they get a healthy Frank Gore too?
Oh hell yeah, they can. Just throw him in there.
Yeah,
You know Frank's good. He'll go in there and give you 6.
Dennis Smith
Yeah.
Jr. I've heard.
Dennis Smith Jr. is washed at this point in terms of how other teams view him. I'm sure he could turn it around, but he does not hold a lot of value right now to GMs.
that
But
Saints trade looks real bad for the Knicks.
yeah, it does. But yeah, those guys I already mentioned, and then also RJ Barrett would be probably like a centerpiece for any trade for Russ.
Any picks? No picks?
Well, yeah, you could give a
Players?
pick, but you can give a pick, but you're not gonna need to give many picks because Russ's contract is one of the top 5 worst in the league right now, up there with Chris Paul's, up there with John Wall's. It's one of the supermax deals that's just way too big for no reason.
If I'm the Knicks too, like you just said, they don't have very many assets, like player wise.
Right.
So I would not trade RJ Barrett. He is one of your key centerpieces to the franchise as of right now.
Right.
On most teams, it wouldn't be that case. Because I mean, he was still good last year. You know, he was a rookie. He could still improve a lot to be a good player, but that's probably the best thing they have going for them. I would not trade Westbrook. Trade for Westbrook using RJ Barrett.
Right.
Another team that I saw potentially looking to get Westbrook. Westbrook made the claim too, apparently, that he wants things to kind of go back to how they were in OKC, where he could be more in command of the team.
Right.
And, a suitor for that is the Hornets, and there was rumors about that, and a lot of people don't seem to remember either. Is that Michael Jordan obviously owns the Hornets,
Right.
and Westbrook is signed to Jordan, so that could be a little connection there that Michael Jordan uses to get him there. But that's if, Russ is just like, fuck it, let's get back in my old role. We're in the East. Maybe we can get back to the first round or something like that. And I could see that happening. He's a good enough player to make that happen.
Right.
They got Malik Monk.
Yeah.
And?
And it would be hard for the Rockets to really gain any value for Westbrook with that contract. They're probably going to have to end up taking less assets than they actually want just to basically get rid of that contract. If I was the Rockets, though, and I'm not sure that they'll do this, I could say it's probably like a 50% chance, but I would also trade Harden. Like we talked about, I think it's very clear that Harden's not going to be that player that's going to lead your team to a championship. And you might as well reclaim or gain some assets while you can, while his value is still pretty high. I saw a lot of people saying that maybe the 76ers would want him because now Morey is over there. And I would love to see that happen. They got a decent team over there, and you put that around Harden. I've seen people talking about like trade Ben Simmons for Harden. I wouldn't necessarily do that.
Tobias.
But the thing is, who would the Rockets take? That's the hardest question.
And there's also a level of value in like when you get up to a certain superstar level to where like if you were realistically on the trading block, like you wouldn't get anything back because no one knows what type of package to put together for that. Like what, you know what I mean? Like, because all these criticisms we say of Harden are like top level criticisms. It's like he's one of the 5 best players in the game, but you're just not going to win a championship with him. So the only people who'd be looking to trade for that right away or to pay the price necessary to get there would be other people who are trying to win championships, And then those teams know like, well, yeah, he's good, but he's not like win a championship good. So why would we trade for him? You know what I mean? So it creates like a paradox where you're just not going to be able to you'll never get as much value as what you're giving up by trading him is basically what I'm saying.
So my question would be for the Rockets, do you want to just be good and maybe hit, 5 to 8 seed, every year with you getting rid of Westbrook? I could see them being in there that range with Harden.
Mm-hmm.
Or you just want to blow it up, see what you can get, and then potentially start to build a championship that way?
Well, I'll tell you, man, I'd feel a lot better about blowing it up and rebuilding if I had still a top GM in Daryl Morey, but you let him walk. So
That's
you let him
crazy.
walk. So I don't really know or trust the new GM like that. So I would probably honestly try to tread water, especially if my owner's broke, which he is, and he needs the revenue.
Yeah. So it's definitely a tough situation the Rockets are in. But if you're a new GM and you want to make some moves, I really think you're in a good position to get some
Mhm.
assets and
Yeah.
buy yourself some years. Do you see any other players moving? I saw that someone like Tucker was not happy with what's going on there.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't give him a new contract, I'm sure PJ Tucker could go somewhere, and he's highly valued around the league, especially for teams that want to play small ball. Like if you put PJ Tucker on the Lakers or on the Warriors, whoo, they'd play good. They could put together some good lineups. Eric Gordon's another guy that could be moving as well, and then other guys like Austin Rivers, he has value as a bench player. He'll float around in some trade rumors, but yeah, we'll see what happens. But really, the main guys to watch, I think, are Westbrook and Harden, I guess.
Yeah. I think if they do start trading off some pieces, one team I would like to look out for, maybe someone for like PJ Tucker or something, would be someone like the Heat.
Yes.
You know,
Hmm.
that would be a player that could really boost them into that next level.
Or the Celtics. Ooh. Mm.
Celtics, yeah. No, it'd be crazy. All right, moving on. We also have more rumors circling around. Well, this one could be a little quicker topic here. We have rumors going around about Chris Paul.
Hmm.
There's always rumors about him going to the Knicks or something like that. But the biggest one so far, and it actually seems like a developing story, the Suns are in contact with the Thunder a lot and trying to make a deal here. Do you like this fit, Philanthropist?
Yeah, I do because I think Chris Paul's an addition to whatever team he's on. But I think this would make the Suns taper out as like a 8 to 6 seed in the West. Really, it's because of who they'd have to give up to get Chris Paul. They'd have to give up Oubre for sure. Oubre is going to have to be the centerpiece of any deal for Chris Paul because he's the most valuable, expendable asset that they have. They're not going to give up Aiton. He's going to be untouchable. So they're going to have to give up Oubre, definitely some picks, and also probably Mikal Bridges, who's another great young player they have. And then what you're talking about really is a big three of Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and Aiton, and then whatever role players you have left. And that's really it. So like it's decent, but it's not gonna, take you over the top to be a contender. And you're really banking on Devin Booker becoming a top 10 player, which I'm just not there yet. And, overall, at this point in Chris Paul's career, I want him to be on a team that's going to be in the Western Conference Finals or the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think he deserves that. And I think he wants that. But he's going to have to let go of that contract. Like he's getting paid, I think the next 2 years now, 45 million and 47 million. And it's like, I want him to get bought out, but I know he won't because he's not bad enough to get bought out. And it just sucks. Like he's one of those guys that I really hope at the end of his career we don't keep saying like, "Oh man, he never won a ring," because he's that caliber of player. We all saw he tore his hamstring, game 6 of the 2018 conference finals, the biggest moment of his career. The Rockets looked like they were in command of that series. Who knows what would have happened if he played? So I am hoping that somehow, some way he finds his way to the Lakers or the Clippers or the Heat or the Celtics or whoever it may be, because I want that for him.
The players that you mentioned from the Suns potentially going to the Thunder, do you
Hmm.
like that as a fit for the Thunder?
I don't think the Thunder need to be worried right now about like fit. I think they just are in a rebuild mode where they're just doing asset collection. So I think the number one thing is the picks. Like you need good picks, and then you need like a centerpiece young player who's either good enough to keep or good enough to trade in the future. Oubre definitely fits that. Mikal Bridges is a little bit less valuable, but he's up there as well. So for the Thunder, it's really just I want all my chips. Like I want to get my war chest going. So they should just be in that mode. And really, Presti has done another fantastic job. He has them in such good shape. So many draft picks, so many young players. He's one of the best GMs in the business. We all know that, and I'm sure he'll make the right call.
Fuck with that. Young E, where would you like Chris Paul to go?
I mean, it'd be cool to see him in Phoenix just because I think it'd be good for that team to have a veteran presence like that. But I agree with Phil. I would love to see him win a championship somewhere. I'd love to see him in the Heat, but I don't want them to pick up that contract. I want them to be able to do something next year with the cap space that they have with Dragic coming off the books. But I mean, yeah, I'd love for him to win a championship.
Definitely. And another player that has been moving around in the rumors is Victor Oladipo, and this actually seems to be a case of those rumors definitely not being true.
Mm-hmm.
What I like about Victor Oladipo coming out and dismissing all of the rumors and saying this is where he wants to be, I think it helps that look of, any player who is really good or close to being a superstar has to leave their team that drafted them because they are small market. As a Kings fan, I love to see it no matter what team it is. What do you have to say about what's going on with Oladipo, Youngie?
I mean, I was upset with this, man. Like, that's my boy, and people were lying on my boy's name. How am I supposed to feel about that? Happy? Nah,
Yeah,
fuck them. Fuck them.
fuck them. Let's go. Philanthropist?
100% agree, man, because stuff like this, like it really just looks like this was coming as an erroneous report from someone who didn't have a good source or someone who was just capping. And that's not good because like you're not just first of all, you're jeopardizing this man's job first and foremost. And secondly, you're calling into question his character with a report that's just completely false. And I really like that he came out, Oladipo and his family and his teammates even, and just said, like, no, this is just a straight up lie. Like, this did not happen. But it's unfortunate, you know? And overall, I agree with what you said, Jordan. I want to see more small market teams keep their stars and stay competitive. And I thought it was interesting that Oladipo's just completely bought in to staying with Indiana because they're consistently a great franchise. They always are good at finding good talent, and they never overspend in free agency, but they're always competing. So I like to see that.
I think where everybody should have noticed that the report of Oladipo going around during the games and asking the other teams to trade for him, that report should have been seen as bullshit when the Knicks name popped up.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I don't care if you even play for the Kings, bro. No one is out there asking the Knicks to trade for them.
Probably the opposite.
It's probably the fucking opposite. And I'm just so tired of the Knicks getting this free screen time. I swear it is someone like Dolan, bro, just throwing out these fucking bullshit rumors so he could get the value down on a player.
Right.
And I'd be very unfortunate if that was the case. But yeah, man, NBA offseason, we got a lot of rumors. I'm really excited to see how those are going to play out. We'll see how it is in the next couple of weeks. And we have the draft at the end of this month, right?
Yes. Coming up soon.
Cool. So we'll get a lot more. And I think they're still working on the CBA and how they're going to do the offseason. So I'm sure this will be a thing that can change at any day now. But we'll see. Yeah, any updates will be coming quickly. We're close to a month away from the NBA season. I am super excited for that. Anyways, now it is time to get on with our NFL talk. Oh shit. I just dropped everything. Anyways, we are in week 10 of the NFL season. Goddamn, time is flying, especially when you are stuck inside. We're going to go ahead and start with an afternoon game. It's going to be one of the better afternoon games. We're doing the same thing as we did last week. We're picking the 5 best games, the 5 games that we think will be the best for the week. And we're going to talk about them in depth, but then run through the rest of the games and give you our scores, give you guys the predictions. Yeah, I just chugged that beer. It's getting to me, along with the it's good. Fucked up Friday. I fuck with it. Bear with us. Anyways, our first game that we're going to go over is one of the better afternoon games, and that is the San Francisco 49ers versus the New Orleans Saints. God damn. The New Orleans Saints are coming off of a huge game last week where they completely obliterated what looked like to be the best team in football at the time. They fucking scored a bunch of points, and then they also stopped a very potent offense. Young E, I'm going to let you go first on this. how do you see this game playing out? And then I will give Philanthropist the floor after you because I know this is his Niners team. And I don't think he has that much to say this game, but I really want to get your opinion on the Saints and where you think their trajectory is for the rest of the season, also with the Niners.
I don't have much to say about this game. I think it's going to be a blowout. Unfortunately, the Niners are just, with all their injuries, no longer a good team, and that's just the reality of it, and it sucks. And the Saints, on the other hand, are a good team. I'm still not super high on them, but I do think out of the NFC, I haven't really been super impressed with any team, like I was saying with the Cardinals in our last episode. So I mean, they're definitely Super Bowl contenders out of the NFC. But that's all I really have to say about this game and the Saints.
All right. Philanthropist, I know it's a tough time for you right now. But how do you feel about this game?
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, this should be the encore to what was, arguably the regular season game of the year last year, where, we put up fireworks. It was a 40 burger for both teams. I don't have much to say about the Niners. The injuries at this point are just comical. It sucks. You just got to scratch the year and move on. Saints look like they're on the upswing again after a dominant win last week. So I'm sure the Niners will put up some type of a fight, but I think it's going to comfortably be a Saints victory, probably by 2 touchdowns or more.
I actually think it'll be a pretty close game. I believe in Kyle Shanahan too much to think that this game will be completely out of reach.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the Saints looked really good last week, but, any given Sunday, and you do have, albeit a still pretty damn good Drew Brees, you still do have an aging Drew Brees. And you could also have those plays where Taysom Hill does it when Brees is not even on the field and he fumbles the ball or something like that. Saints sometimes go on these mistakes, and I think this will be a good game. But at the end of the day, yes, I do believe the Saints are going to win, and I think they're going to take control of the NFC South. I do think that the Bucs do have a good chance of losing this week. Are we good with that game? I know that was kind of a quicker one, but we do want to talk about our teams. That's what we're always going to do. So if you have
y'all two go, I'm gonna be right back.
All right. Well, I think Phil's gone as well, but that's okay.
You can't do that. What's going on?
We'll get this show on the road without them. God damn. Anyways, so the next game that we have coming up, one that I am particularly excited for because I am, of course, a Miami Dolphins fan, but also because this is going to be a good game regardless. This is an intriguing game regardless of what your team is, because we have two rookies who seem to be playing very well. And I know Tua has only played in 2 games and really only played good in 1, but Tua has always been said to have that it factor. So if he's going out there and able to do something like that against a very good Cardinals team, then that's a pretty damn good sign of what he is to bring in the future. And then also you have, so anyways, I didn't even say the game. It's the Dolphins versus the Chargers. Chargers are visiting Miami, and it'll be interesting to see how, it's always interesting to see how a West Coast team comes over to the East, and how they play. The jet lag, that shit's real. But then on top of that, you have a rookie quarterback in Justin Herbert who's on his way to he's competing with Joe Burrow, but both of them could possibly win Rookie of the Year. And then, like I said, Tua's only played in 2 games, but he's also playing very well. But on top of that, I think the difference in this game is the rest of the team. And now, not to say that the Chargers aren't a good team. I think they are. I think they're better than what their record says. But the Dolphins are, and I might be a little biased, but they are an up-and-coming team. They have what right now looks like a top 5, top 7 coach, and that defense is playing like a top 5 defense. They didn't necessarily play that way last week, but it is tough to play against Kyler Murray and that Cardinals offense. But yeah, man, it's going to be a good game. I think the Dolphins do edge this one out, but it really just might be because a West Coast team is coming to the East. Philanthropist, what are you looking forward to in this game, and how do you see it going?
I really want to see this matchup of quarterbacks. I have been so surprised with the quarterbacks this year. Burrow obviously speaks for itself. I expect him to be good, but not this good. Herbert has been a complete out of left field surprise for me. I was low on him. He looks great. I would say he's arguably looked like the best quarterback so far. Tua, high expectations. We'll give him a little bit more time before we come to conclusions, but he's looked pretty decent so far. So I really want to see that. I want to see a shootout, but because the Miami defense is so good, I doubt we're going to see that. With the Chargers, I really think this is unfair. I really do, but it sounds like Anthony Lynn's on the hot seat, which I think is ridiculous because we all know that black head coaches obviously face much more pressure to win. They have a much shorter leash than a lot of their white counterparts. So I think it's really honestly stupid. Yeah, exactly. Like, how the hell is Adam Gase not on a more hot seat than Anthony Lynn? But that's beside the point. I think it's ridiculous. So I would like to see a Chargers win just to preserve Anthony Lynn's job because I know he's a great coach. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a close game. I think that the Chargers offense is humming. I think Eckler's coming back this week. I'm not positive, but I know he's getting closer to coming back. And yeah, I want to see if the Dolphins can open up the playbook a little bit more for Tua this week and let him really start slinging the thing. I know he played really well last week, so maybe that gave them a little more confidence to let him do his thing a little bit more. But yeah, I'm just excited for this game. I really think this actually has game of the week potential.
Yeah, definitely. I actually think that the Dolphins do have a better team and should win this game. But as a Dolphins fan, I know that consistency isn't something that happens very often for us. So I could very much see this being a game that they should win and, in fact, lose. Young E, do you see the Chargers maybe pulling off an upset here? And because I know you're high on the Chargers. And what are you looking forward to in this game?
I do think this is going to be a good game, but I think the Dolphins are too good. We're going to get to it later, but I think the Dolphins are in a position right now where they know they can win the AFC East if they continue playing well. So I think they're going to keep on. They have a really good coach in Brian Flores. Really good coach.
Jordan, I have a question for you. Do you think this is the biggest Miami Dolphins football game in the last 15 years?
No.
I mean, in the fact that this and every other game from here has legitimate ramifications on whether or not you win the division in that sense.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, because last week was a pretty damn big game, just to gauge. Because I was saying, like, that's how I thought last week was going to show if we were actually a good team or not. Because, we played well, but, obviously in the beginning of the season we've played well. But what convinced me that this team was good was the win last Sunday against the Cardinals, because then it shows that we are ready to possibly make the jump.
Right.
We can get past that inconsistency. We can win the big games on the road. Even when things get tough, we bend but not break. And that's what I've seen from them last week. So I have my hopes up, but as a Dolphins fan, you still got to have a little bit of negative thoughts in there, so I can't commit myself 100%. But I do like the direction of this team, and I think that I would even almost guarantee that they win the division next year if Tua continues to improve.
Nice.
So we didn't even do scores for Niners and Saints. We'll do that real quick since it's fucked up Friday. We'll go back to that. What do you think the score of Niners and Saints will be?
I said 2 touchdowns, so I'm going to go ahead and say 24-10 Saints.
Okay. Young E?
He was drinking the shit out of that water.
Dead ass.
Yeah, I'm thirsty, bro. I'm going 37.
I need 14. Water. Help me. I need water. Help.
I didn't hear what you said, bro. What'd you say the score was?
37-16.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 37-16. Niners take the dub. Young E. I like that prediction. I think it'll be closer than that. I think it could be like 30-20. So it's not that much closer, but and then the Dolphins and Chargers, I do think that game, I think it'll be 24-19. I can see it being 24-19. But yeah, man, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You have more to say.
Yeah, I'm just really excited for this team as a whole. There's like actually something to be excited about. And I know that in Adam Gase's first year as coach, we had young quarterback in Tannehill and a bunch of young talent like Jarvis Landry and Kenyon Drake and some of them. But it was Adam Gase. You never felt all that confident. And then Tannehill, you knew that he needed to have a pretty damn good team around him to win. But I'm liking the professionalism out of not Kyler. I like the professionalism out of Tua. I was going to say that I don't like the professionalism out of Kyler. What he did last week was ass. But yeah, we can actually use that as a segue. We do have a big matchup for Kyler Murray this weekend against the Buffalo Bills, and we have two potential MVPs at quarterbacks dueling it out. Kyler Murray versus Josh Allen. I've been really high on Kyler. I said he would end the season top 3 in MVP voting, and I still do really like him. But like I was saying, I was pretty upset of what he did last week by not coming out and congratulating Tua on a good game. And just shaking the hands with the rest of the team and all that. Instead, he went straight to the locker room. And I thought, maybe that's just because of COVID. Maybe he doesn't want to talk to everybody. But then after the game, he also in the press conference seemed very upset and was giving some really poor answers. At the end of the day, he's young. He's about as old as us. I could understand, things are going to get to you and he's got to work on that. But it was just unfortunate to see that because I did see Tua after the game and he really was looking for Kyler. So that did upset me, but I still am very high on Kyler's game, even if my boy Philanthropist is not.
Nope.
And they're going up against a very, very good Buffalo Bills team. And I am really, really hoping as a Dolphins fan for a Cardinals dub here. Young E, how do you see this game going?
Last week, the Bills proved themselves. They're a legitimate team. They are good. They are here to stay. I think they are probably a top 3 team in the AFC, but I do think the Dolphins are going to beat them out for the AFC East by 1 game on the tiebreaker Bills-Dolphins game at the end of the year.
Hit the you can't do that button.
Week 17?
I'm about to bust.
Week 17, Bills Dolphins.
Wow.
Is it?
I don't know. I'll look.
No, you're good. Keep talking. I'll let you know.
But yeah,
points
I think Bills are going to come out in this. They're going to clap. I have Bills taking this 34-24. Not a real clapping, but a little clap.
A little spanking.
Yes, they do play the Bills on week 17.
Yeah, that's for the division, and the Dolphins are going to win. So, yeah, that's hot. I'm hyped up about it. But Bills are going to give the Cardinals a little clap. Little clap.
Wow. Okay, Philanthropist, how you seeing this one going?
I agree, bro. Kyler came out last week with a bad attitude, bad intentions, poor sportsmanship. And that's going to manifest in a Bills victory this week. And I have Stephon Diggs in fantasy, so I'm going to just tell you right now, he's going to give you 12 catches, 111 yards, maybe a tub. We'll see.
Wow.
Yep. And it's going to be a moderate spanking. It's going to be 33-20 Bills.
A lot of people actually thought that Kyler was upset on Sunday because he couldn't beat Tua in college. So he was also upset he couldn't beat him in the NFL.
Well, boo-hoo. Beat him.
Grow the fuck up. Yeah.
Stop whining and beat him.
It's like the fucking baseball shit. Don't give up a home run and no one will bat flip. Fucking beat him and you don't have to deal with losing.
Yeah.
I actually do think this game, though, between the Bills and the Cardinals is a very good game. I think this is one of those games, too, where either team can show that they're ready to make the jump. And I know that we just had the Bills beat the Seahawks, but I do want to take that with a little bit of a grain of salt because that Seahawks defense is historically bad.
Yeah.
And I know that the Bills defense was obviously making some good plays against the Seahawks offense, the very good Seahawks offense. But what I'm saying is if I do see the Bills come out and beat the Cardinals, especially if they beat them decidingly, that's where I'm going to be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to really take the Bills for real here. They really are a top 3 team in the AFC, if not top 2. Maybe sitting right behind the Chiefs there.
Whoa.
Why not? Tell me why not.
There's a lot of other good teams in the AFC.
I'm not ready to put the Steelers there. I'm just not.
Yeah, Steelers, no. Ravens, they're gonna have to show me a little something
they gotta
more.
show me a little bit something more too.
We need Greg Roman going.
I know, bro. They really got Josh Allen out here looking like he's better than Lamar, which is completely false, but that's just the way the world's going right now.
Move on to the next game.
No comment.
We'll get to that later.
I think that the Cardinals, I think Kyler's going to use that anger from last Sunday, and I think they're going to win. I think the score will be 30-27. Field goal.
The real question, Jordan, is when Kyler gets real angry, does he start jumping on his tippy toes?
Wow.
A little bit.
Fucked up.
Like that.
Disrespect. But I support it.
Kyler slander is always tolerated.
You can't do that.
All right, and the last one of our 5 games that we picked. No, actually, I am tripping. I skipped one. Okay, second to last game that we're going to talk about is the Bengals and Steelers. I know we really want to talk about this one because the couch team here can sniff. There is an aroma in the air for a big upset here. Will Joe Burrow walk into the stadium that day swinging his 14-inch fucking sausage?
Pause.
And will he grab that hammer like Thor himself and rain it on the field that day?
Slant boy.
I know that this one was really one of the games you're passionate about this week. Lay it on us now, please.
I'm biased, and I want the Bengals to win, so I'm going to speak it into existence because any Steelers loss in the next few weeks brings the Ravens right back into playoffs. So I'm hopeful. I do think there is a legitimate potential for an upset, though. Big Ben, I think they played off that injury as it was nothing. It was obviously something. Right. He could barely walk off the fucking field in the first half. I mean, honestly, to me, like, I thought he tore his ACL by the way he was moving around, and he was still just throwing the ball. And that's how Big Ben is. Like, and that's why I thought it was even a possibility, because I was like, if someone was going to tear their ACL, drive down the field and go 4 for 4 and throw for 70 yards, it would fucking be Big Ben. And that shit makes me mad, because fuck him.
Could I make the argument that after like a small injury to your leg, someone the weight of Big Ben would have trouble walking off the field anyways?
I mean, yes, maybe. But still, they made it seem like it was no big deal. I think it was at least a strain. He had something strained in there. And I think probably it would have been best for him to sit for 2 weeks. And I think if they were in a position where they were 6-2 or 5-3, they probably would sit him for 2 weeks. But I think because they're 8-0, I think they're gonna push it, and I think they're gonna see how far they can go. And I mean, I think they really might be thinking about going 16-0. And looking at their schedule, if they beat the Ravens again, it's a very much a possibility. They play the fucking NFC East the rest of the year. How am I supposed to feel about that? And I think they're not that good, and I think in playoffs they're going to get ran through by any team like the Chiefs. I think they'll get beat by the Bills. Any team like that, I don't think they stand a chance against in the playoffs. But I think the rest of the regular season really works out for them. And, yeah. But Bengals upset this week. Be on the lookout. Burrow's been in every game.
I think that if there is, I was just messing earlier. I think if there's one quarterback that can play significantly hurt, it's Big Ben. We've seen him time after time take some of the biggest shots, still get no roughing the passer penalty called, and he gets back up and throws a dime the next play. It makes me very mad. I don't like it. I
no
wish
charges pressed.
Stop. But at the end of the day, He's doing it, and that's a fact. And they're 8-0 as a football team, and I'm upset about it, but it's a fact. And I do smell an upset. I do like the way that the Bengals play on offense. Their defense is okay. I'm not the biggest fan of Zach Taylor, but at the end of the day, it's one of those any given Sunday kind of things. And like I said, I think Joe Burrow is really going to come in there and he's going to play well and take this over the top. Will be tough against that Steelers defense. We may not be giving them enough credit, but I don't give a fuck. I want to see an upset here. Philanthropist, what do you think about this game?
I feel like y'all trying to manifest something that's just not going to happen. And it's not even about disrespecting the Bengals. It's about the fact that I've seen that horrible Bengals offensive line get blown up by teams like the Eagles, right? What the hell is going to happen when they play the Steelers defense, bro? Joe Burrow's going to be in the doghouse all night long. Like, I really think the Steelers could score 13 points and still win this game, realistically.
No,
So
my score is low.
yeah, and I think that defense, the Bengals have a really nice offense except for their offensive line. And if you're going to have Burrow running for his life the whole game, it's just too much to ask. And I think the Steelers are probably going to eke out another W, probably going to be 9-0. And like you said, Jordan, really their only path to not being 16-0 or having a path there is them playing the Ravens again. But I wouldn't get too hyped up about that if I was a Steelers fan. You're going to be one of the worst 15-1 or 16-0 teams of all time. So don't get too excited. You're still going to get waxed in the playoffs eventually, but there is a path there for that.
I just know we're all going to be upset when they win that first playoff game.
Oh yeah, we will. Ethan most of all.
Yeah, Youngie, how you going to feel about that?
I just did want to point out Big Ben hasn't practiced all week because he's been on the COVID list. He's getting activated tomorrow for the walkthrough. So I think that actually benefits him with the injury, honestly. And with him being such a veteran, I don't think it takes too much away from the game plan. One thing I do think it takes away from, though, honestly, with someone like Big Ben is his day-to-day health. Like just staying in shape throughout the week, football shape enough to play 60 minutes. And I know he's an NFL quarterback, so I'm sure he's doing it. But, I see Big Ben come in every training camp, and I'm like, I don't know what you're doing at home, big boy, but you got to come into training camp and drop another 15.
How much do you think he weighs realistically? Fuck what they ruled him as. What do you think he weighs?
I think I have him at like 245 or so. I'd say that's probably accurate.
No way. He's like 6'6".
I don't think he's 6'6", bro.
Isn't he really big? They don't call him Big Ben for nothing, bro. I'm pretty sure he's like 6'5".
My final score for this game is 17-13 either way.
Okay, so he's listed at 6'5", 240 pounds.
That's the biggest load of cap I've ever heard.
I'd say he's about 245 to 260. I say he's in that range.
I'll give you 260.
260.
Wow. You're giving Ethan the up.
Bro,
you're saying it's okay for him to over-exaggerate a bit?
He's 6'5", bro. He's 6'5", and he's filling that fucking jersey out. He's busting out that jersey, bro.
It really is crazy. And it makes me mad how good he is at making people miss.
No, he's super mobile for no reason. It makes me upset.
Imagine if he dropped 25.
Dodging pass rushers, dodging charges, dodging everything, bro. It's crazy.
If he dropped 25 pounds, he could probably be like Lamar.
Yeah, he'd probably stop tearing his ACL every year, too.
I mess with that. All right, so we can go ahead and jump into our quick playoff picks.
We're just gonna skip the fifth game.
We got one more game, which is the Ravens one.
Bro, I've been hitting that shit.
All right.
I almost passed on the Bengals and Steelers. That's where I fucked up. I thought that was our last one. Okay. We have a Sunday night game here, and it's going to be a great one. I think that it's going to be competitive, even though one team seems to be falling off, while the other one seems to be a very good team, but just needs to find something in themselves to push them a little bit further. I think the Ravens here are getting a little bit too much hate as of recently. I mean, goddamn, you would have thought by the way that the media was covering them this week, and I know that there was some controversial things said, but you would have thought that they lost this last weekend, and they didn't. They beat a damn good Colts team. So I'm still not real low on the Ravens at all. I think that they just need to iron some things out, maybe make some, mid-season adjustments. Whether that's being Harbaugh now making the calls on offense instead of Greg Roman, I think that's a great move. As we've talked about before on the show, Greg Roman ain't going to get it done, and he's going to stall and slow down the progression of your young offensive players as time goes on. So, Young E, the Patriots also, they've had some bad times this season, but had a good win last week. So, how are you seeing this game going?
I think this is going to be a blowout for one reason and one reason only. The Patriots have been turning the ball over a lot, and the Ravens have been doing something beyond this year, beyond last year, but within the last 3 seasons with turnovers and taking them back for touchdowns. So I'm seeing 2 defensive touchdowns in this game. And I think that's going to be a big factor to a blowout. I do think the offense is going to come out and play a little bit better. If Greg Roman is calling the plays at the beginning of the game, I do think he's got more pressure put on him, and I think he knows that. There's been a lot of media pressure, and I'm sure that's led to pressure within the organization. And you could tell last week after halftime, I haven't seen it formally said by anybody, but Greg Roman was not calling the plays in the second half. If you watch the game, it was noticeably different. They did not run pistol but like 3 times in the second half entirely after running it almost every play in the first half. It was a completely different offense in the second half. And I think Roman now either has the pressure to put something up that's going to produce like that and, be able to put up the points like that, or I think Harbaugh is going to continue to make the move and call the plays if he needs to. And that's what a good head coach does.
Are you worried about the Patriots at all?
No, they're trash. Cam will probably go for like 200 yards and get a rushing touchdown and a throwing touchdown. He'll get you your 20 fantasy points, but that's going to be really it. He'll probably fumble one time, and that'll be one of the touchdowns, and he might throw a pick, or Damian Harris might fumble, or somebody will fumble.
Philanthropist. Do you see a potential upset here?
No.
On Sunday Night Football?
No, I agree that the Patriots are just not good right now. As far as the Ravens go, yeah, I think if you take play calling responsibilities away from Greg Roman, this team's right back to where they were as a contender. I just don't like pistol, man. I really don't. I think for running the football, it stalls your momentum. Like you have to snap the ball and then hand it off when your line has already been blocking for like a second and a half before the running back even touches it. It just doesn't jive for me with like the identity of the team. I don't know how much y'all ran it last year, Ethan, but I'm assuming it was a lot. And really, once defenses adjust to that and they adjust to running out of the pistol, there's nothing you can do. And I saw it happen with the 49ers, who had one of the greatest offensive lines of all time, and they had one of the greatest running backs of all time in Frank Gore. It's not going to happen with dudes like J.K. Dobbins or dudes like Mark Ingram. And that's not even disrespectful to them. It's just that the defenses can stop it. And I think I caught a little bit of the second half last week, and I saw that what Harbaugh basically did was he started selling out again with using Lamar as a runner primarily. And he was just sending him on designed QB runs all over the field and in ways that were not really predictable. And I think that's when the offense is at the best, is when you let Lamar kind of not freestyle, but get really creative and open up some more lanes for more passing opportunities. But yeah, overall, I still think the Ravens are in trouble. They need to put their foot down in a sense and decide which direction they're going. Are we going the Greg Roman direction, or are we going in another direction? So I think until that happens, they're kind of just delaying the inevitable.
Youngie, are you cool with this being a Sunday night game?
Yeah, I'm happy about it. I mean, I think it's a good game, and it was one that was scheduled at the beginning of the year, and I don't see any game this week that they should have changed it to. I think it's fine.
Agreed.
I respect it. Yeah, Ravens, Patriots is always good football, regardless of who you're going to put on the field.
34-17.
Okay, philanthropist.
I don't want to give the Ravens too much here because I still think they got some things to figure out. I'm going to say 28-20 Ravens.
I'm going to say Ravens 32-24. I'm cool with that.
32. That's a difficult score to achieve.
They're going to make it happen, bro. Watch out. Justin Tucker's going to have a lot of kicks, bro.
Fuck. That's a lot of kicks, bro.
He can do it. I'm not tripping.
I'm counting right now. That's 6 field goals, bro.
Could be one of those days. Greg Roman, you never know.
You're not wrong.
All right, we can go into our playoff picks. We did some at the beginning of the season. I cannot remember all of mine. No philanthropist can either, but I know Young E has his from the beginning of the season. But we're gonna go ahead and take all of the information that we've got over the last 9 weeks and predict what's gonna happen for the playoff picture in the upcoming weeks. Who wants to go first?
I'll start it off.
All right, I like the heat. There we go. Let's jump into it.
So I'm going to start with the division winners and then go wild card for each conference. For the NFC West, looking like most people would assume it's a two-person race between the Seahawks and the Cardinals. I'm going to go in a different direction. I think the Rams actually have, based on remaining schedule, the best chance to pull that off. I think the Seahawks are a bad team in sheep's clothing. Their defense is just really that bad to me. The Cardinals, I think, are in the driver's seat right now, but based on who the Cardinals have left to play, who the Rams have left to play, and just overall statistics and balancing out, I think the Rams actually have a really, really good shot to pull off the division. With that being said, still think there's going to be 3 playoff teams from this division, so I'll get to that. But NFC West, I got Rams. NFC North, I'm going to go with the Packers. I think this is clear. Not really much that needs to be said. The Bears are too far off. The Vikings are too far off. Packers look great. I'm going to take Packers.
Would your mind change if they threw in Money Mitch?
No, my mind would be solidified because then the Bears would completely drop out. But I'll let Ethan be the fanatic Trubisky supporter. For the NFC South, I think what happened last week was really indicative of the Saints taking hold of this division and not letting go. So I'm going to have to give the edge to the Saints. I don't know what their schedules look like, but that's kind of like a symbolic win that's hard to come over if you're the Bucks. So taking the Saints in the yeah, they did. They got swept. There's no more chances. From here, the Saints control their own destiny, so I'm going to go with them. NFC East, I guess I'll take the Eagles. I guess. I don't like it. I don't feel good about it, but whatever. That tie is going to help them out a lot. So, Eagles. Ugh. So, for my wild cards for the NFC, definitely taking 2 teams from the NFC West just straight off the bat. That's the Cardinals and that's the Seahawks. For that third wild card team, I think it's going to be the Bucks. I think they'll have the best record out of all the remaining teams. I think they're going to find a way to figure it out. They kind of alternate between having really disappointing losses and then also looking fantastic in other weeks. So I think they're going to hit their stride. As far as the AFC goes, I'll start with the AFC West. This one's pretty clear. It's going to be the Chiefs. Dominant, probably top 3, top 2 team in the league. Not much to say there. For the AFC North, I was hoping that the Ravens could pull it out, but I don't think they're going to be able to make up that ground. I think it's going to be the Steelers, but very competitive division all around. For the AFC East, I'm going to go with the Bills. I'm sorry, I love the Dolphins, but I just think the Bills have a bit of a leg up, and I think they have just a bit more playoff-ready people on their roster right now. But it's going to be close, and it's going to be a real race. And then for the South, I still have the Titans, bro. Like, I love the way the Colts have been playing. I really do, but I just think the Titans are still gonna bust it out. I think Vrabel needs to make 1 or 2 adjustments, and I think they're honestly back in action. So I'm going to go with those 4 teams for the divisions. For the wild cards, this is where it gets tough for me. There's a lot of competitive teams in the AFC, but I'm going to start off with the obvious one. I think the Ravens are a lock no matter what you do or say. And then I think the Colts are going to be there too, regardless of what happens. For the third, we're talking about 4 or 5 teams that have a legit shot. For me, it comes down to the Raiders or the Browns and me personally, and the Dolphins, and the Dolphins. Out of all those 3 teams, I like the Dolphins' chances the best. So I'm going to pick the Dolphins to eke it out. And I also think that, realistically, the Bills might win the division at 11-5, and the Dolphins might finish 7-6 in that case. 10-6. So I just think the Dolphins will probably have the best avenue to get there, especially since they've already played all the NFC West teams. I'm not sure what the rest of the schedule looks like, but I'd assume it'd be pretty easy from here on out.
I like it. I support that. Young E, would you like to go?
Go ahead. I have mine in order. So AFC 1 seed, I have the Chiefs, obviously. 2 seed, I'll give 2 for the 2 seed because, obviously I'm going to say with bias, I think the Ravens might eke out this division. 1 Steelers loss and a Ravens win on Thanksgiving night could get them back in first place in the division. I think that's very realistic, but, I'm going to need to see a little bit more these next 3 weeks for sure. So I'll go, but more realistic, I think, to go with Steelers. So I'll say Steelers there. 3, I'm going to have the NFC East winners. I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I think they're going to get this out in the last game. I think they're going to go 10-6 or 11-5. I think they're a very good team. They have a very good coach, and I think they're ready to take the AFC East. In the 4 seed, I have the Colts coming out of the AFC South. I think it's going to be a good race down to the end between them and the Titans, but I think they will edge that out. In the 5, like Phil said, I think the lock is the Ravens. So I'll definitely have them there. Then in the 6, since I took the Dolphins to win the AFC East, I'll have the Bills. And in the 7, I think it's going to come down to the last game of the season between the Titans and the Raiders. And I don't know. I'm not sure yet. But I think the Titans will edge it out. And I think they do good in that last spot of the wild card. And honestly, I think if we see Titans-Steelers in the first round of the playoffs, that's a scary game for the Steelers. So that's my AFC picks. NFC, I have the Packers in the 1 seed. I think they're dominating right now. I think they're going to sweep that division. They're very good. So easy money for them. I think the Seahawks, even though they have such a bad defense, will find a way to overcome with good coaching and, not great coaching, but good coaching. And then a great quarterback at Russell Wilson, who is going to win MVP. Tired of let's stop talking about Kyler. Let's stop talking about fucking anybody else. Russ is the MVP. I don't want to hear it.
No
then I got the
Mahomes?
Saints. Mahomes can be up there. That's fine.
Okay.
But that's really it. And maybe Rodgers. All right.
Okay. I fuck with that.
Then I got the Saints at the South. Like you said, they solidified themselves last week, and it's their division to lose now. Out of the 4, because it's got to be NFC East and god awful. But, I've been talking a lot about Alex Smith coming in and that benefiting Washington football team. And I think whether Alex Smith comes in for 3 weeks and holds a spot, and even if he loses 3 games competitively, and they decide to bring Haskins back in, that will help Haskins' development immensely. And Ron Rivera has already expressed that that's an idea that the team has with moving towards Alex Smith, is they want Haskins to see how to go about a day-to-day on a professional level. Because when you get drafted as a quarterback and you just get thrown into a team with Dan Snyder and fucking Jay Gruden, and there's no fucking sort of organization, leadership, veteran presence at all in the quarterback room. It's, there's bound to be some development issues. So I do see that being a benefit for them. And also I saw some out of Alex Smith last week. I don't know if you guys watched any of that, but he did get 350 yards. One of the interceptions was 110% on J.D. McKissick. That was a terrible play. The other two were tough plays, but at the same time, it's also been 2 years since the dude's really thrown a football consistently in a game. So I did want to, cut him some slack on that. But overall, I think he looked good. He looked like he's comfortable in the pocket. He got comfortable as the game went on. So I see them winning that division at an ugly 6-10.
Ooh.
Yeah, but
Ow.
it's one of those years. And I got the Bucks at 5. I got the Cardinals at 6, and I think the Cardinals very well could be replaced with the Rams right there. Just because what I saw out of the Cardinals last week made me unsure on them. I'm not sure on their defense, and I think there's going to be games where they turn the ball over, and I think that might lose them the game just because their defense can't hang in. And then I think upset at number 7 for me is the Vikings. I've seen a lot of good things out of them the last couple weeks. I think they're making their way up. They're on a huge upswing, and I really could see them almost winning out the rest of the year. And that would be big for them. So, yeah, 8 would be Rams or Cardinals, whoever doesn't make it out of the two of those.
I don't like the Vikings pick, but everything else I'm cool with. I support it. Very interesting. Thank you, Young E, for sharing that with us. You always bring such valuable insight. I love it. All right. For me, I'll go ahead for the AFC first. I'll go ahead and do the same thing with Young E and give rankings by seeds. I think the Chiefs, I don't really have to say anything much else about the Chiefs. They're the defending Super Bowl champions with one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen play the game of football. So they're going to get the 1 seed. They're going to get that bye. I think the 2 seed will actually be the Bills. I can be super biased and put, the Dolphins winning the division, but I just don't see that being possible. And I do see the Steelers falling off, and I think that's going to be able to propel the Bills into the 2nd seed. And then also to include the Steelers falling off a bit, I do think the Ravens will actually end up winning the division. I do see a significant slide from the Steelers coming up. Philanthropist may be right, and I'm just trying to manifest some bullshit, but I'm going to manifest that bullshit, and that's okay.
More power to you.
And number 4, I have the Titans. I do think they're going to edge it out here. I just love the culture that Vrabel's put together there. And the running game, Derrick Henry, super fucking reliable every week to put up damn near at least 100 with at least a tubby. And he really, that play action with him and A.J. Brown, it's just super hard to defend. And I think that they just got caught up on a Thursday night and got blasted. It was mostly the special teams, I think, had to blame for the game that happened on Thursday. A lot of miscues, whether that was the block punt or even the punter hitting the ball off the side of his foot and punting it like 10 yards. That was just absolute shit, and it really fucked him up. And then not even to bring up Gostowski as their kicker, who is continuing to miss on a weekly basis, and it's getting very, very frustrating. I think it might be time to finally change the kicker. Anyways, I think they still do have a great team, and they'll do well. So 5, I do have the Steelers. I think that they'll slide off, but they're not going to slide off tremendously. I still think they're going to get that 5 seed, and it may just come down to whether it's divisional tiebreaker with the Ravens. They split the games with them, and then, like if the Steelers, let's say, lose to the Bengals this weekend, like we were talking about, that's a big deal in the deciding who gets the division. 6, I do actually have the Raiders getting in. I really do like what I see from them. I think Derek Carr is really starting to come into his own. He's just one of those guys that looks like he just loves to play football, and he'll do anything he can to make that big play. And sometimes it doesn't work out, but I think with John Gruden, he's really starting to develop this good rapport with them. And they're progressing every week, and that's all you could want from them. And they have some type of new energy there. And I really could see them being switched out with the Colts. I'm still needing to see a little bit more from them. Like I said, the Titans, I think, just got cut up on a Thursday night. If I do see like one more big game from the Colts and a little bit more from Phillip Rivers, then yeah, I'll go ahead and throw them into that 6th seed. But I think ultimately the Dolphins are going to end up with the 7th seed, whether it doesn't really matter. I just think they're going to get the 7th. And I think they'll do well to finish the season, but I don't think they'll be hella good to not get the 5 and the 6. And if they Bills do get the 2nd seed, I would love to see the Bills play the Dolphins first round. That would be a great matchup, especially since they just play in week 17. All right, for my NFC, I do have the 1 seed going to the Packers. Just with who they have in their division, I think they can do pretty damn well in their division. I know they just got clapped by the Vikings and shit recently, but I think they're still a very good team, and that division's really just theirs to have. And I just can never give up on.
He's a bitch.
So I think he'll take it. And that's just because I think the NFC really is super competitive, divisionally, besides the NFC East. So the other teams may slide because of their divisional matchups, whereas I don't see that affecting the Packers as much. Like the Saints, for instance, I do have them as number 2, and just the division they play in, I think that can not make them be up top at 1. 3, I do have the Cardinals taking it. I really do like what I see from them. I think they just have some type of different energy. I think they're going to ride it in through the season. I'm not super confident in the way that the team is built right now for them to be a Super Bowl contender or to be maybe even a Super Bowl contender next year. I think they need to add some more pieces, but I think they will ride this new energy into a strong finish and take that 3 seed. And number 4, I really would appreciate if the NFL, if Roger Goodell stepped the fuck up and said, I'm going to have a veto. We're not going to have the NFC East in the playoffs at all. I think everybody would fucking support that. Not one person would be opposed. And I think even most fans that are teams of NFC East teams would be totally fine with that. And then I think after this year, especially if a team gets in at 5-11, 6-10, they need to make a rule in the CBA after the season that does not allow a team that is under 7-9 to get into the playoffs. Because even 7-9 is iffy, but we did have beast mode carry a 7-9 team to a victory in the playoffs. So I get any given Sunday, but I think 6-10 and under is just atrocious and should never happen. But I do have the Eagles taking that spot. I believe too much in the abilities of Wentz. Yes, he'll fuck up sometimes, and they'll still, like I said, not have a winning record. But at the end of the day, I think he'll do just enough. He's good enough, just enough to get past those NFC East defenses. It's not saying much, in my opinion, but I think he'll do it. I do like what I am seeing from the Washington football team, but they just look good because you're comparing them to other NFC East teams. I think at the end of the day, they're not that good, along with the other teams. It's just really hard to talk about the NFC East. I want to stop talking about them now. I think the 5 seed will go to the Seahawks. I will say my 3 wild card teams, I think that they're interchangeable. I think because of how competitive those teams are, like maybe all 3 wildcard teams could be like 10-6. Like that's what I mean. Like it'll be really close. 11-5, 10-6, all of them could be possibly. So these can be interchangeable. I'm not really set on my seeds for the wild cards in the NFC, but I do have the Seahawks, Rams, and the Bucks getting in. I think the Seahawks, Russell Wilson's he's basically right now looking like Aaron Rodgers 2.0 with having to carry your team and your team just thinking that you can continuously trade first round picks and not build a defense. And I mean, he does have better offensive weapons than Aaron Rodgers, but you know what I mean? He's carrying a team and I don't like it. So I think that's what's going to hold them back from winning the division, and that defense is just historically bad. So far right now, they like the worst defense of all time statistically. So far, they're on track to being. And it's actually by kind of a lot. It's pretty crazy. But anyways, I like the Rams too. They have a lot of potential. I think that and I say that because I don't think they reach their potential on a weekly basis. I think they're a little inconsistent, and that's mostly Goff in my eyes. But I think McVay and just that, I don't care what you say, they have a good defense because they have Aaron Donald on that team. You have him on a defense, that's a good defense. So I think they're going to have just enough playmakers. They're going to make just enough big plays to get them into the wild card spot. And the Bucks, and they're a good team. I'm not saying that they're Super Bowl contenders, but I think they're definitely good enough to make the playoffs. I don't really have too much to say about the Bucks. I'm kind of high on them, and at the same time, I'm kind of not. So, and those are my playoff picks.
Very nice.
Anyways, yeah, so that is our playoff picks, and I'm really excited for the NFL playoffs. I actually haven't been this excited for like an NFL playoffs in a long time. I don't know if it's because we've been stuck inside or if it's because I really could not tell you who will. What's that?
There's 7 teams.
7.
Well, yeah, that's true. That is true, but I think it's because I can't really tell you who's going to win the Super Bowl. Like, I couldn't even give you like 3 teams and then be confident one of them was going to win. Like 100% confident. Like last year, it was pretty predictable the Chiefs can go, and it's obviously predictable now that you could predict that. But at the same time, you wouldn't be surprised if, undefeated Steelers, I know we're not very high on them, but a lot of people are. They could slip in. We have the Bills. They're a very good team with a quarterback that can make a game-changing play. They could go in. The Ravens, they have an MVP as their quarterback, and they have a very good defense. They could go in. And then it's even, I think the parity's even better on the NFC side. I think Packers, the Saints, the Cardinals, like I said, they could ride this energy. The Seahawks, of course, they have Russell fucking Wilson. The Rams have been to the Super Bowl before, and then you have Tom Brady and a very, very talented Bucks team. Like, it's very competitive on the NFC. I couldn't even tell you who was going to win that. So it's very exciting. All right, this I guess can be our last topic before we get into our strange question of the day. And the last topic is a very big step in gender equality, a very big step in just progress as Americans in general. We have also it happening in one of the most conservative sports that we have in America, and that is the MLB. We're talking about baseball here. The Miami Marlins have hired the first woman GM. Young E, how big of a deal is this hire?
This is huge. I mean, it was a big deal. So she became vice president of something for the MLB Commissions Board in 2011. And that was a really big deal then. So now for her to be the first general manager, amazing. And I love what the Marlins are doing. They this year were a very young team. They've been building. They have a really good prospect pool, and they have potential to be a really, really good team in the coming years. They have good ownership, and I know it's weird to say this. I like Derek Jeter, but Jeb Bush is not a bad sports owner for the Miami Marlins. As weird as that is to say, and I don't know how much I can support it or not, but that guy wouldn't like that. But he's a good sports owner, and they've done a really good job with the Marlins and getting Kim Ng in there. Great move. I think they're going to be a good team going forward, and they might be my number 2 team now. I'll be on the lookout for them for sure.
I love it too because as a Dolphins fan, I've always just kind of supported Miami teams just a little bit because they're from Miami. So I've always kind of supported the Marlins, and I do like this. I think that they had some really bad years there. So philanthropist, what do you think about this news with their hire?
It's just fantastic. It's a complete win-win for all involved. I'm not big into baseball, but I know the Marlins had a really good year last year and that they're overall on a really good trajectory. So I think it's great. You know, she's going to be the first, but she's certainly not going to be the last woman GM in that league and in other sports leagues. Um, Other shout out to women trailblazers in sports. We have Becky Hammond with the Spurs, who's an assistant coach there. Tim Duncan recently left the Spurs staff, and I know she's taken a more prominent role. There's even been rumors that she's next in line for a head coaching job once
Yeah.
Popovich steps down. So, you know, we love to see it for Kim, for Becky Hammond, for all the women in sports that are predominantly male. Love to see it. It's always good news to hear that, and I'm really happy for her.
Yeah, and just listening to the story and seeing what on TV and them talking about it, she definitely has the credentials to back it up. It's
Right.
not like it was just some bullshit that people want to talk about and have these these storylines and certain hires that I don't even want to get into that, but she definitely has the credentials and she should be taken seriously. This is a great team that's on the come up, and I'm excited for what they're going to do the next coming years.
Yeah, she's got 3 rings, and they're all with the manager that they have right now on the staff. So, that's a big deal. I know we're going to move on from this and go to our crazy question.
Okay, go ahead.
But before we did, I did want to shout out, just because Jordan mentioned it at the beginning of the show and it made me think about it. It's Green Jacket Sunday, baby. It's the Masters. I don't know if y'all saw.
Yeah.
I don't pay shit attention to golf, but I did see that one dude the other day skipped it off the water twice for a hole-in-one. I've never seen some fucking shit like that in my life. I was so amazed. I was like blown away in my head how it physically even fucking made sense. But he did it. It was probably the most amazing sports thing I've ever seen. But yeah, Green Jacket Sunday, bro.
Apparently that was on like the run through. So apparently all of the people participating, they get to do a run through by themselves and just kind of do that. And apparently that's like a tradition. All of them try to do a trick shot there. So yeah, man, that shit's fucking crazy. I was blown away. I didn't even know something like that would be possible. Obviously you could skip rocks and shit, but that was accurate. And he knew exactly what it needed to do. It was crazy.
Shoot or shoot, period.
Yeah, I like it. All right, let's get into our crazy. We need to come up with a name for it. It really is couch talk. Like, when you're, on a little something after the game's over or something, you just sitting there start talking, right? So this is some couch talk. All right, here we go. I like that. Do you think if you had an NFL offseason to train, you could take Kyler Murray in Oklahoma's?
100%. 120%, bro. He's 5'9", 200 soaking wet.
Chill.
I'm 6'3", I'm about 220. You give me like 4 months to train up, hit the weights, get ready, bro. He's going down, and that's just simple physics. And Kyler, if you're watching this, come see me, pussy. Let's go.
Whoa.
Let's get it done.
Okay, I want to ask though, like, you're saying that with a lot of confidence. Are you saying this would be easy for you?
No, it'd be challenging, but listen, bro, it is what it is.
The game.
I'm just playing.
Wait, no, I mean, are you playing or are you serious?
I mean, I'm playing in the fact that I'm disrespecting him, but I'm being serious. I think I could. He's also a quarterback, so it's not like he's a hitter by any means.
And before we even started the show, you made a mention about him possibly sliding in this scenario.
That's what he's trained to do, bro. He's not going for the contact. He's trying to slide. And you know what? He might duck me the same way he ducked trying to give a handshake to Tua. I don't know.
Whoa, let's go.
He might even do a little tantrum and jump up on his tippy toes. I don't know. Who knows?
Whoa, that's a lot of disrespect. Young E, what about you?
I don't know, man. I think me and Kyler, unfortunately, we're probably about the same height. So, I don't know, bro. It would be a toss-up. I think I could put on a good amount of weight, good amount of muscle. I think training camp is like 3 months. So I think I could do a good amount in that, but I don't know if I could take Kyler, bro. I'm just not sure. He might get up too much speed.
But no, you got him on speed, bro. You're faster than him for sure.
Chill out. I support that. Personally for me, I think it could be 50-50 if I could really train for it. And I only say 50-50 because I am particularly built different in the lower region of my body. I am quite thick. I think that would, give me some sort of an advantage. And not to say that Kyler himself doesn't have great cheeks, not to say that he doesn't have great legs. That man can really move, and I'm sure them legs are powerful. But I think that if you gave me a little training, I could make it challenging for him. I wouldn't say that I would win, but I'll make him sweat a little bit. Maybe like 2 drops.
I respect it.
It'd be definitely interesting though. But I do think Philanthropist, if you really got a chance to train for it, I think that you could just based off physics.
Yeah. No disrespect. I'm just playing when I'm being overtly disrespectful, but I think I'm confident I could do that. Yeah.
All
but
right.
I have a question for you all too. This will be a quick one, but I want to give you a scenario here. All right. If you were playing Madden against somebody, right? And you didn't control the actual players during the play. It was only simulation, right? So you pick the formation, you pick the play, and then you let the computer play it out from there, right? So it's like a simulation almost. If you were controlling the defense and Greg Roman was controlling the offense, could you beat Greg Roman in a game of Madden play calling chess?
Yes.
Confidently, yes. And I'm not.
Would it be a 3 and out or would it be a drive?
It's a 3 and out. I'm not even well versed defensively. It's a 3 and out.
What's your play call?
In Madden, I don't play defense very often, but I still think that if even if we played a full game, I think I could beat Greg Roman in Madden.
I fuck with it.
You think so, Youngie? You could?
Yeah.
Okay. What if it's on all Madden difficulty?
That's gonna make it a little bit more difficult on me, but makes it more difficult on him too because the receivers suck and they just drop the ball at that point.
Put him in that cover 3 hard flat in that 4-3 formation, bro. They're gonna go cover the out routes.
QB spy.
Yeah,
QB
have
spy,
the middle.
You got Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
You exchange that QB spy for a safety, so it's fast enough to keep up with Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
And you're done. Greg Roman's done with this fucking pistol inside zone.
He's cooked.
Speaking of bad coaches, we do have 2 more we could throw in here really quickly. We're bringing back a GOAT from our OG episodes of Here at the Couch. If you go back just a couple of months, we talk about this guy a lot, and that is Bill O'Brien. He's our favorite coach of all time, quite possibly the best GM to ever exist, strictly based off memes. If you were to set up, say, a situation where you could take that same Texans team and have it run side by side with Bill O'Brien's Texans team, if you had 5 years to build this Texans team, as GM, do you think you could do a better job than Bill O'Brien?
Unequivocally, yes. And we talked about this a little before the show, but all we need to do is beat his worst moments. And for example, one of those is the DeAndre Hopkins trade. And we were talking about this and we said, if you had no historical knowledge of the Hopkins trade and somebody came to you and said, hey, would you do this trade? Even if it was in Madden, we would all 3 of us would look at that trade and be like, what the fuck? This trade is horrible. There's no way we're doing that. And Bill O'Brien did that in real life. So for me, if I'm talking about 5 years, all I have to do is not make the same horrible, obvious mistakes that he did. And I got a whole staff of people assisting me who know the minutia, the details. All I get are the big decisions that are pushed to my desk, and I just have to say yes or no. For me, it's easy, bro. He's sucked. He was horrible. This is why you don't let coaches be your GM, because they're coaches. They're not GMs. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, shit. I know philanthropist, you're not a big fan of trade machine stuff, but there'd be no trade machine on the planet that would approve that trade to happen.
Zero.
Young E, what do you think that you could do? And that's
I definitely think I could outperform him. I'm pretty good football. I feel like I got good scouting eyes. You know, I could have
War
done
room.
I could have done it. Yeah, war room tactics.
there we go.
Ready for it.
All right, Young E, I also wanted to ask you, in your condition right now, you just said that you could dominate Bill O'Brien as a GM, but could you dominate him on the football field? Do you think Bill O'Brien could make an open field tackle on you?
I said this before the show, and I strongly believe this. I think I could juke Bill O'Brien out of his shoes. I think I can make him look like that Bills outside linebacker against Lamar last year.
Wow.
I'm coming for Bill O'Brien like that.
Hey, Ethan, I gotta just give you some contextual information here, bro. Bill O'Brien is 6'4", 235 pounds.
Yep. So I'm gonna go right out to the right, and then I'm gonna go.
Hey, that kind of got me right now. I didn't know where you were.
It did. Juke my shit for sure.
Philanthropist, what about you?
Oh man, I'm not quick, man. You've seen me run. I'm very lumbering. I may be able to just beat him in a 50-50 Oklahoma situation, potentially, but that's a big ass boy, bro.
Yeah, but we're talking open field. You don't think you could maybe just cut it to the outside and outrun him and beat him on the angle?
So if you took me and you turned me into a Madden player and you did my real life stats, I'm telling you right now, my agility and my lateral quickness is at a 0. Just a flat 0, bro. I couldn't juke a rock. So Bill O'Brien, bro, I don't know if he lifts, I don't know if he works out, but I'm sure he could track me down at some point.
I'm thinking, so right, we said as we are right now. Mm-hmm. So in my head, I'm also thinking about how is Bill O'Brien right now too? He has just been recently fired. Nothing is open. He's probably put on an extra 15. So if he was, listed as 230, 235, I think that might have been a little generous. He might be, because remember, we talked about Big Ben. He's 1 inch shorter than Big Ben. I think Bill O'Brien weighed more than Big Ben. He might be sitting at 245, 250. So we could potentially be looking at a Bill O'Brien after being fired and staying in quarantine that could be 260 plus. I like my odds against anybody who is 260 plus. That is not a professional football player. That is not a professional athlete. So I think I could do one cut and maybe outrun him to the outside. He might grab my shirt and I might hit the ground. I might get tripped up, but I will get past him.
I think Ethan, it's not even close. Ethan's just so zippy. He's gone.
I could juke him. I could give him the stiff arm. We could go heads. I mean, it's anything. Anything he wants, I'm down.
It's on site, huh?
I'll truck it, bro. I'll truck his shit.
Can I give context to Young E's physical ability?
Yeah.
So last year we worked together, and he was mossed by a middle school student.
Let's go.
Okay, so let me give you context on this. I don't even know if Jordan was there, bro. We're playing football, and this kid made a good catch, and I was playing defensive back on him, but I was a good 5 yards off when he made the catch. I was nowhere near him.
So he burnt you?
And this dude, no, I was 5 yards past him on the field. I was playing more of a cover 3 kind of safety, and this kid swear he mossed me, but when he did it, he fell and cut his leg, and he was screaming, and he was laying on the ground, bro. It was so bad. To this day, bro, the kid swear he mossed me, but I'm telling you, anybody who actually was there and I witnessed it knows I was 5 yards down the field playing safety. I was playing zone. I was not playing no man coverage. I did not get mossed.
Okay.
Um, to add more context, I still do currently work at the same place. Ethan does not. We did just have a staff jeopardy based on things that have happened at the school. And one of the questions was, who got mossed? So it's very
Ooh.
well known. Very well known.
Ooh. Ethan. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
I don't actually think he got mossed like that, but I wasn't there actually. So
Hey, you're putting the next generation up for success. That's how you got to look at it.
You know, if he needs in his mind to believe that he mossed me, then he mossed me, bro.
He's giving those Kyler Murray answers right now.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie though, there's sometimes like those kids, man, they'll get you.
Yeah.
Like especially like soccer. We're playing. I can't do soccer. I'm not good. And then like soccer too, it benefits people who are smaller. I feel like. So
it definitely does.
You got to go out there with the MJ mentality, bro. Fuck them kids. That's how you got to do it.
Youngie, were you getting splashed on in basketball though?
Oh yeah. Y'all know I'm not good at basketball. I'm just not. I can play.
What you mean? You got that mid range.
I can play defense, and I would say 1 in 3 days I can hit a mid range pretty well. But outside of that, I'm not contributing much on a basketball court. If I'm playing against anybody who knows what they're doing on a basketball court, I am getting tossed the entire game. I cannot drive. I cannot fucking shoot. I don't know how to shoot when someone is defending me without getting it blocked, bro. Like, basketball was never me when I was a kid, so I never really learned the fundamentals.
If we threw you in a pickup game, could you get me 2 points in some fashion?
A pickup game against who?
Just average gym goers.
Yeah, I could definitely, like, I could play against some dudes like that because I can shoot here and there, and I could definitely play some defense. And I guess, like, once in a while, I might be quick enough to get past somebody and drive to the lane, but I'm not gonna drive on anybody and get any and ones or anything like that. I'm not nice with it. No jellies from me.
It's pretty interesting when we're playing pickup together because, Young E has those vintage mellow games where he's hitting the shots, and then I mostly play on luck. Just throw it up, shoot or shoot. We see what happens.
Facts.
And yeah, it's just fun. I remember last time we went out, we got absolutely killed by probably 35 plus years of age men. And I will say though, it was purely based on cardio. I was fucked up.
Y'all had me, bro. If y'all had me, it would have been a different story.
I think we played 5 games, and by halfway through the second game, I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna yak.
It's different. It's different, bro.
Playing.
And I swear those, like, the other dudes, like, they didn't look too in shape. They looked like dads, but I could tell, like, in their free time, they'll go, do like a 3-mile run.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we got to get you out, Philanthropist, when everything clears up. We can head out to Roosevelt, up in downtown Sac. We'll pick up another pickup game there.
I'll hit up my boy Doug Christie. We'll play some pickup games together.
Oh, it's good.
You don't want to see me. I'm going to cross him up.
They don't want to see Hoodie Ethan.
Young E, to defend ourselves in that pickup game too, our third player was not playing very much.
No, not at all.
I always hate that because then it becomes more of a workout than you just having fun.
Right.
Philanthropist, you do pretty good though in pickup ball.
Bro, I haven't played since March, but yeah, I mean, when the world's normal, I play pickup at least 2-3 times a week.
And
love of the game will never go. Always got to get my itch scratched.
If your stats are being tracked, what do you think your averages would be?
I mean, pickup games usually go to 15, and I'm good for at least 5 or 6, maybe 7, depending. It depends on how bad or good your team is. If you're on a really good team, you don't want to do too much, and if you're on a really bad team, I kind of have to do more. But yeah, man, I'll give a little, I don't know, what's a good analogy? I'll give you a few Paul George games to somebody's Kawhi.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But then I'll have some pandemic P games too.
Yeah,
Either way, I'm shooting though.
I like it. I play more like Russell Westbrook. You know, I may score 30 points, but I'm also 10 for 50.
Yep.
So.
Ethan plays like Boban.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Just big.
I'm trying to be
Words.
KG, bro. KG, when I was a kid, that's always who I looked up to. For some reason, I always wanted to be a 4, always wanted to be a power forward, and I wanted to have that mid range like KG.
I'm not mad at you, bro. That's a good thing to aspire to.
Let's go.
Me and Philanthropist used to play all the time at 24-hour. That was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
I will say too, I was hitting Curry shots before Curry.
Ridiculous. He'd just throw it up, bro. Just complete prayers, and he'd hit like 40% of them.
Only way I could beat Philanthropist 1-on-1 because he was like 5 inches taller than me. I would just have to shoot deep threes.
Yep, basically.
And Philanthropist would get so mad.
Just not good shots. Y'all remember when
That's a bad shot.
Y'all remember when Playoff P said that?
That's a bad shot. That's what he'd say all the time. I knew that kind of reminded me when he said that about somebody, but now it's all clicking.
Bro, me and Pandemic P were on the same wavelength, bro. We know.
All right. I think we're good. You know, it was a good podcast there. You guys got any last things you want to say about what's coming up this weekend?
Nothing, man.
What?
I'm sauced.
Oh, he's sauced.
It's all.
We did playoff picks for our mid-season. Out of 10, how you feeling about NFL season?
0.
0 out of 10?
I'm a Niners fan, bro.
Wow.
0.
Young E?
I've loved having football on, but it's really fallen off for me the past week and a half or so just because the shitty teams are so bad. And they just keep putting them on TV, and they're impossible to avoid. And it's making me not like it. So because the NFC East keeps finding their way onto primetime games, I'm at a 6 right now. But if we could get some of the better games into primetime, I would probably be up at like a high 8, low 9, but 6. Get the NFC East to fuck off the TV.
I support that. I would actually say mine's a 9 out of 10. I know my Dolphins are doing good, but for me, it's mostly 9 out of 10 for the fact that the generation where it was Manning, Breeze, Big Ben, Aaron Rodgers, I think that era's coming to an end, and we have a lot of good future football to be played here. We have a lot of young talent, and I think all of that's coming into fruition, and we're still going to have a lot of years from someone like Russell Wilson. So that's why I like it. It's very competitive. Like I said, it's really hard to pick who's going to win the Super Bowl. So that's why I have a 9 out of 10. And it would be a 10 out of 10 if NFC East football was not on prime time. I'm going to be very upset on Thanksgiving when I have to watch the Cowboys.
And the Lions.
And the Lions. I like Stafford, though. If he's playing, I'm cool with it.
We got Ravens and Steelers that night, too.
That's the game that's going to make me bust.
I don't even get to watch it, but yeah.
Oh, for real? Well, you should just turn off your phone and then try to watch it some other way, like after it's over or something. But yeah, that's unfortunate, but that'll be a good game. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the end of the football season that's coming up here. Looking forward to the start of the NBA season. And looking forward to life, as it's really going to be hard for it to get. I don't even want to say it's hard for it to get worse in the world than it is right now, but things could really turn quick. So I'm going to just say, you know, on a positive note, things are getting better, maybe, but we're progressing. Okay, we are striving for progress. That's what I will say. And now I'm kind of dragging out this outro. Anyways, this is the Couch Sports Talk Podcast. I am Goozy here with Philanthropist and Young E. We get our sports information the same way that you do, not sitting on the fucking couch. And I hope all of you are enjoying our newly added segment of Couch Talk. That is definitely becoming a favorite of mine. If you are enjoying this podcast or this video, please give us a like. Please give us a subscription if you want more. And also comment down below. Could you avoid Bill O'Brien in the open field? I want to know. Also, anything else that we said that was a little bit too hot, a little bit too sizzling for your cheeks, let us know down below. And if we're just straight up stupid, please also let us know. Anyways, again, this is the Couch Sports Talk Podcast. I won't drag this on any longer. Have a good